This is solving systems of equations by substitution, section 7.2. I'm going to go through the examples they do in the book, and then maybe you can reference. I've also given you links to Khan Academy videos that might help you. So here's two equations. Essentially, I'm trying to figure out where they intersect. You remember that. And I like to write them side by side. Why? I need to get down to one variable. So I notice that here y is by itself. So here is y written as a function of x. So I can take this entire expression, because that's what y is equal to, and I can plug it in over here for y. And the reason I like to circle this and show where I'm putting it is so that I remember to write everything else. There's my x plus 2, so there's my x plus 2. And now I am going to replace or substitute 3x plus 2 for y. So that's all I've done. I've replaced y, substituted it with this expression. Now all I have are x's. So I have to distribute, and don't forget, some of you guys are forgetting, 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 2 is 4. And then I combine like terms. Then I work to get x by itself. And there's my x value. Well, now that I know that x equals 1, I got to go back here and find y. Well, y is 3 times whatever I just found x to be plus 2. So y should be 5. So again, I found that point 1, 5. And you should check 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, 1 plus 2 times 5 is 10. 1 plus 10 is 11. So those two x and y values check in both of those equations. Here's my next example. Now, I don't have any variable by itself, but I can easily get x by itself. Notice I wouldn't want to try to get y by itself. I wouldn't want to try to get x by itself, and I wouldn't necessarily want to try to get y by itself here, because I'd have to do some dividing, and then everything gets super yucky. So I want to get x by itself, and I'm going to say 2y minus 6. It's a little easier to see it that way. Sorry. I'm going to add 2y to both sides, and then I get x equals, and I'm going to put my 2y first because it's positive. So now that I have x as a function of y, I can replace my x values with an expression that only contains a y. And where is it going? It's going right in here. So I still have my 4, but instead of my x, I am going to write 2y minus 6, and then I'm going to continue with my equation. So the only thing I've done is replaced x with this new expression for x that only contains a y. And then again, I have to distribute 8y minus 24 plus 6y equals 4. I'm going to combine like terms. 14y minus 24 equals 4. Then I'm going to add 24, work to get y by itself. Now that I know what y is, I can come back over here and figure out what x is. So x is 2 times 2 minus 6. So x is 4 minus 6, so x is negative 2. So my solution, my intersection, is negative 2, 2. It's the point that both of these share. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, plus 6 times 2 is 12. That equals 4. Check. Negative 2 minus 2 times 2 equals negative 6, and that checks as well. All right, one more. Again, look at these two equations. Who does it look like it's easy to get by itself? Or which variable does it look like it's easy to get by itself? Well, here's y, pretty much all by itself. Neither x nor y is really by itself over here. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And now it doesn't really matter who I put first because they're both negative. Remember, you've got to be very conscientious when you're doing this kind of work. Any little mistake can cause big problems later. So now I have this expression for y, so I'm going to plug it in where y goes, and then I have to carefully copy everything else. Negative 2x plus 4, but now instead of y, I am going to write negative 3x minus 7, and then carefully distribute. Positive times a negative is a negative. A positive times a negative is a negative. Combine like terms. -2 minus 12. If I'm down here at -2 and I go down 12 more, now I'm down -14. And then I'm going to add 28 to both sides. Divide by -14. And x equals -2. So again, now that I know x is -2, I can come over here and plug it in to my expression for y. +6 minus 7, y equals -1. So this should be my solution. And again, I can come up and check. 3 times -2 plus -1 equals -7. Check. -6 minus 1 equals -7. And then -2 times -2 plus 4 times -1 equals 0. Sure enough, +4 minus 4 equals 0. That checks. So that is solving by substitution. Get one variable by itself, substitute it into the other equation, so now you only have one variable, and then work to get that variable by itself.